Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Gopi Jana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Jaya Radha Madhava Shri Radhe Jaya Puranitai Mayapur Sasi Jaya Puranitai Jaya Mayapur Sasi Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Shri Prabhupada ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Hare Krishna. So we'll read from our family business. Chapter 3. Apply the order. The agent of divine mercy. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur emphasized book distribution in his own preaching. In 1936, he founded the Paramarthi printing works in his Bagh Bazaar temple in Kolkata in order to publish Vaishnava literature for mass distribution. To underscore the fact that the printing press was spiritual, he installed it next to the temple deities. Everything here, he later wrote, including the building, printing machine, and supplies, etc., even the bricks and pillars, is aprakata and non-different from Krishna. As Srila Bhaktisiddhanta put the printing press at the heart of his Gaudiya mission, so did Srila Prabhupada, establishing a printing press almost as soon as he incorporated ISKCON in July 1966. In fact, as early as 1969, before ISKCON owned any real estate or had much money to spend, Srila Prabhupada asked his followers to purchase a building somewhere in the United States that could better facilitate his printing operations. His disciples in Boston were the first to oblige with a house on North Beacon Street. Boston thus became the home of ISKCON's first publishing house. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna. So we are reading from Chaitanya Charitamrta, Madhya Leela, chapter 20. The Lord instructs Sanatana Goswami. I'll go through text 140 and 141, then we'll read 142 together. Text 141. Dhana paile aiche sukha bhoga phala paya, sukha bhoga haite dukha apani palaya. When one actually becomes rich, he naturally enjoys all kinds of happiness. When one is actually in happy mood, all distressful conditions go away by themselves. No extraneous endeavor is needed. Text 141. Taiche bhakti phale Krishna prema upajaya, preme Krishna vada haile bhavanasha paya. Translation. Similarly, as a result of bhakti, one's dormant love for Krishna awakens. When one is so situated that he can taste the association of the Lord Krishna, Material existence, the repetition of birth and death, comes to an end. Text 42 will chant together. Daridra, Nasha, Bhava, Shaya, Premera, Phala, Naya, Daridraya Nasha Bhava Shaya, Premera Phala Naya, Prema, Sukha, Bhoga, Mukhya, Prayojana, Haya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya, Daridra Nasha Bhaya Kshaya Premera Phala Naya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya, Daridraya Nasha Bhaya Kshaya Premera Phala Naya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya, Daridraya Nasha Bhaya Kshaya Premera Phala Naya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya. Nasha Bhaya Kshaya Premera Phala Naya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Naya Premajana Haya. Daridranasha Bhavakaya Prema Phalanaya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya, Daridranasha Bhavakshaya Prema Phalanaya, Prema Sukha Bhoga Mukhya Prayojana Haya, Daridranasha, the end of poverty-stricken life, Bhavakshaya, annihilation of material existence, Premera, of love of Godhead, Phala, the result, Naya, certainly is not. Prema Sukha Bhoga, enjoyment of the happiness of love of God. Mukhya, chief, Prayojana, goal of life. Haya is. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The goal of love of Godhead is not to become materially rich or free from material bondage. The real goal is to be situated in devotional service to the Lord and to enjoy transcendental bliss. Purport. The results of devotional service are certainly not material benefits or liberation from material bondage. The goal of devotional service is to be eternally situated in the loving service of the Lord and to enjoy spiritual bliss from that service. One is said to be in the poverty stricken condition when one forgets the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to end such a life of poverty in order to automatically end the miserable conditions of material existence. One is automatically liberated from material enjoyment when one tastes the service of Krishna. One does not have to endeavor separately for opulence. Opulence automatically comes to the pure devotee, even though he does not desire material happiness. Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Let's see translation once again. The goal of love of Godhead, please repeat. The goal of love of Godhead is not to become materially rich or free from material bondage. The real goal is to be situated in devotional service to the Lord and to enjoy transcendental bliss. Let's chant the prayers. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण. So, in this chapter, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing to Sanatana Goswami, and as of now, he's coming back to the point of the highest goal that we achieve, isn't it? So, highest goal is what? So, we understood very well that there are three steps: Sambandha Gyan, Avideya, and Prayojan. So, Sambandha means to establish relationship, who we are, who God is, why we are here, few questions and then answers. And then Avideya is to the process by which we can achieve the goal, and Prayojan is the end goal. Here, Mahaprabhu is saying that the goal of love of Godhead is not to become material rich or free from material bondage. Sometimes we may think that, okay, if we practice devotional service, we might be free from material miseries, but that's not the case. But even our scripture says that even if you perform devotional service, these are kind of get free as well. These are kind of something which we get by its accord. And we will see here again that Prabhupada explains in the purport that opulence is automatically comes to that pure devotee even though he does not desire material happiness. Right. So these are kind of byproduct of a devotional service. Even devotees, they don't care about it as well. Right? And then again, he says the real goal is to be situated in devotional service to the Lord and to enjoy transcendental bliss. The happiness which we get in this material world, these are not blissful. It comes and goes again and again. Let's for example in mundane world, even if you want to achieve something, some goal, what do we do? Let's for example, someone wants to become a doctor at maybe in secondary, right? He wants to become a doctor. So now needs to go to his teachers and ask, what shall I do to become a doctor? And the teacher is going to provide himself steps. Okay, you need to study this well, you need to score this much, and then go ahead, and then you can become a doctor. So to achieve something, we have a process, and the process being followed properly, we achieve the goal. And if you don't follow the process properly, then we might not achieve the goal. That's a mundane example. However, so the point is, we need to decide a goal. You want to become rich, then we need to earn more money. Right? If you want to become make a big bungalow, you want more money. You want a car, more money. So work. However, here it's being said that but material things, what happens is as soon as we start planning for something and we achieve it, as soon as we achieve it, something's more there, isn't it? We need some more. That is no more importance anymore to us. And then eventually what happens is in the material world, whatever we get, as soon as we got it, that the importance is finished more. Now we need something more and more and more. Hankering is all there. But for pure devotional services being described here that the material miseries, cutting the knot of material miseries or to become rich, it's not the motivation for devotional service. It's something else. What is that? To get the transcendental bliss and enjoy it. So service to the Lord is what being recommended here. Like we know very well that Jivara Swarupa Nitya Krishna Das. To understand that we are eternally the servant of the Lord. And our duty is to serve the Lord. And by serving, what we get? We get bliss. There was one devotee was saying nice thing. Sometimes people think about what what we get in return of service. So the point he was saying that the service we get, that itself is everything. If we get the service, we do the service, and what we get is we get more service, right? As we get more service, we get more service and more. And this service cannot be compared with the material worlds, right? And this is anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipadam punam sadhanam. So at every single step, what we do, we get the bliss, and that is like an expanding ocean. Anandama buddhi, it goes on increasing and increasing and increasing. The bliss we get by serving the Lord, by the process of devotional service, the bliss cannot be compared with the material thing at all. In our Shastra, Rupa Goswami explained that, I think we're discussing the other day as well, like the bliss we get from performing devotional service is compared to an ocean. And the bliss we get by impersonal liberation, that is like a kind of car who footprints that much of water. It's kind of compare. No, the ocean and the water in a car footprint cannot be compared. So the bliss we attain by liberation or impersonal liberation cannot be compared to the ocean at all. It's just a kind of cup of water or a glass of water. And the material happiness what we get is just one drop. So the material happiness even cannot be, see, one drop you can't compare with a glass of water. There's no comparison at all. So material happiness is way, way behind impact to the impersonal liberation. However, the bliss we get in impersonal liberation is there is no comparison to the ocean of water. A glass of water, an ocean of water. There is no comparison at all. That's what Rupa Goswami says. So, devotional service, the pleasure, the bliss we get is goes on, and on, increasing all the time. Even Rupa Goswami explains in our Bhakti Samisindhu, he says, there is one point where he says that the pure devotee, pure devotional service, it's even derived the conception of liberation. So there is the conception of liberation is also been cleaned away over there. Right? So that's how powerful our devotional service is. And that's why Mahaprabhu is saying here that the real goal or the prayojana of a devotional service is to get the bliss. And that bliss goes on increasing. And then what happens when we perform devotional service, we get the pleasure of serving the Lord. We become satisfied. Wow, today I have been to the book distribution for so many hours. I struggled a lot, but at the end, it pleases Srila Prabhupada. I think I was reading a quote some other day, and the Prabhupada says, if you go out for the book distribution, and in the whole day, if you even cannot distribute a single book, Prabhupada said that's also it's a pleasure for the Lord, because we have been out for the pleasure of the Lord. The book distribution, as Prabhupada explained, that it's not about our pleasure. It's about pleasing the Lord. And at the same time, if we are providing one book to the devotee, to the outer world, and we don't know that person who reads the Prabhupada's even one line, it can change his life. Isn't it? So that is service to the mankind. Right? Paradukha dukhi. So the devotees, they are paradukha dukhi. They see the miseries of the people, and they wanted to elevate them from somewhere else. Right? So that the bliss we get by devotional service, and it goes on and on and on. And even Caitanya is explained that Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, they are all the kind of Bisara Bhanda. Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Bisara Bhanda. These are kind of, actually, they are like a poisonous pots. Bhanda means pot. They are poisonous spot, even if the karma kanda and jnana kanda, they are not actually giving us the bliss what actually a soul can experience. The bliss the soul can experience is way high than the karma kandas and the jnana kandas can give us. And in just couple of few words before, in this same uh, chapter, Mahaprabhu explains that what is avideya. He says the conclusion is that devotional service is the only means for approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and this system is therefore called avideya. This is the verdict of all revealed scriptures. So, what the essence is that the process to achieve the devotional service, or process to achieve the blissful of bliss of performing devotional service, is the devotional service itself. That Mahaprabhu explaining that there is no other way, there is no other way to approach the Lord. And Krishna again, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita clearly explains that Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Saranam Braja. He clearly says that accept me and I'll take care of you. But what the process? The process being given to us by Mahaprabhu. As a devotee, he came and then he performed the bhakti process, bhakti culture, and then he taught us how to become the devotee of the Lord. And here he's saying that the conclusion of everything by all our, this is the verdict of all revealed scriptures. What is the conclusion? Conclusion is that the devotional service is the only means by to approach Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no other way. There is no other way. And the we discussed earlier, the cause of devotional service is the devotional service itself. Performing some service to the Vaishnavas, to the Acharyas, and then we get the Sukriti, and then we perform more and more and more. Right? So going ahead from that, even Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita about the four kinds of people who accept me, isn't it? What he says over there. And then going ahead, Krishna says that in the same chapter 7, Krishna says that anyone who performs devotional service actually very dear to me. Though these four, the category of the people who are kind of the distress, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and who is searching for absolute, they are all very good. However, the one who performs devotional service is the best. And again, Krishna, if you see, in sometimes people say that how Prabhupada explains in every purport that the essence of everything, even the jnana or karma or everything, Prabhupada explains to devotional service. Krishna says the same thing, isn't it? In chapter 5, he says that yogina abhi sarvesham mad gatinata atmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatam mata. So from all the kind of devotional, all the kinds of process, jnana, karma, ashtanga, everything is that the bhakti, the topmost. And that's how Mahaprabhu also quoting the same thing, that the devotional service is the only and the essential way by which we can actually attain to Supreme Personality of Godhead. So to achieve the highest goal of life, highest goal of life. So goal, what is the goal? Is a prayojana. What is the goal of life? The goal of life is not to become rich. The goal of life is not to become a very educated. Yeah, if we are by our past karmas and by Krishna's blessing, if we have those things, very good. There's no problem. We can engage those intelligence, those riches for the service of the Lord. There is no harm in becoming rich. But the point is that if we deviate ourselves from devotional service, then it becomes zero. Prabhupada explains like, if we have a very good bank balance, count it as one big zero. If you have very good family, another zero. If we have very good opulent job, another zero. So now we have three zeros. Three zeros becomes zero. There is no value, isn't it? But if you put one in front of three zeros, it becomes 1,000. So the zeros, the riches what we have, the good family what we have, the opulence is what we have, all three or n number of zeros we can put as much as you have, that all zeros become zero unless until we put one in front of that. So the one makes the value of all other zeros. So the one is Krishna. Keeping Krishna in the center makes the value of all what we have. The riches what we have, the opulence what we have, the intelligence what we have. Otherwise, it's nothing. Is useless. Why? It's useless because as soon as we give up this body, what happens? It's null. We cannot. No. Let's, for example, we got a lot of bank balance in this life. Somehow or other, it will come anyway. But we have given our life, and then we took another birth. And by Krishna's blessing, we remember our previous birth. Yeah. So, what happened? We remembered our previous birth, and when we grew to 5 years, when you can speak very well and things, then we can go back to the bank and says, you know what, this XYZ person was me actually in my previous life. So when I left this body, I had this much of account balance. So can you please give me back? Do you think we will get this? Yes? No. Why? I'm giving all the proofs. I'm giving all the proof that no, in my previous life, this was the me who have deposited in your bank this much of amount. And when I left, no one has taken it out. So it's lying there in your bank itself. Just 5 years back, I left my body, and then now I'm back with a small, but it's all mine. So maybe you need to pay me more interest of 5 years as well. So please give me back. Is that possible? No. Even the same thing happens for the education. The education we get, maybe PhD or whatever degree we get, we can't claim it again. Even if we remember that I was this person and I passed from this university in my last life, but you can't reclaim it again. We have to go through this again and again. That's why Mahaprabhu is saying very well that the goal of devotional service or bhakti or worship is not to become materially rich or free from material bondage, because these are anyway it will go off as soon as we give up our body. But the essence is to serve the Lord. Jivara Sarupa Nitya Krishna Radas. So by serving the Lord, what happens is the bliss what we get, it actually goes on and on. And even in our next life, that's taking us ahead. It's not finishing. The bank balance which we had in our previous life is become zero in the next life. But the balance which we had in our spiritual bank, that never goes zero. Right? It always goes on increasing, it increasing and increasing. And in that is why the essence of devotional service is to have faith in the words of acharyas, have faith in the words of scriptures. When he says that the devotional service is the only means by which we can achieve the highest goal of life, the highest goal of life, right? It's always saying that highest goal of life. So the goals of life can be a different for different persons, but what the highest one? The highest one is that where it never goes off. Like investments. What happens when we do an investments? We think about, okay, maybe next 10 years the money will become double or triple or kind of things, right? We get promotion calls. Okay, if you deposit this much amount, and we will get maybe 10%, 12%, 50% in next 5 years. So we are planning for just 5 years. What happened next? It finishes away, right? But that goes off. We can't get more anymore. But the best investment what we can do in this world, in this life, is to get something in our next life. The devotional service, if we perform, is going to repay us in our next life as well. So the amount which we have gone in our bank and things is there's no more use in the next life. But the devotional service which we have performed in this life is actually useful in our next life, isn't it? And what the process to that? So if, even in, I think in there are I've got some quotes from Bhagavatam, Canto 3, text chapter 4, text 15. It says that, "O my Lord, The devotees who engage in the transcendental loving service of your lotus feet have no difficulty in achieving anything within the realm of the four principles of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. But, O great one, as far as I am concerned, I have preferred only to engage in the loving service of your lotus feet. So the Vidura is actually saying to Maitreya Muni, and the same thing being mentioned here by Prabhupada says that the opulences automatically comes to the pure devotee even though he does not desire material happiness. And here also Vidura is saying the same thing to Maitreya Muni, saying that the the devotees who are engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, so they have no difficulty in achieving those purusarthas. Whatever we can get by those purusarthas, dharmartha, kamoksha, we get it by its accord. There is no extraneous endeavor for those. However, he says that I prefer to engage myself in the loving service of your lotus feet. So, Vidura's spiritual master is now Maitreya Muni. He's saying that I am actually happy in engaging your lotus feet. So, just imagine, and there is one more verse in Bhagavatam where it says, Tulayam lavanyaapi na sargana purva bhavan, bhagavad sangi sangasha murtanam ki mutashita. So, just by serving Vaishnavas, even for a fractional of seconds, that cannot be compared even to the liberation. So just imagine, if that cannot be compared to the liberation, then just imagine serving the Lord continuously. There is no comparison at all. Serving a devotee, serving a pure devotee, a Vaishnavas, for a fraction of second, that cannot be compared to the liberations. So what we speak of this material world, whatever we get, is no comparison. However, if we continue serving the Lord through his devotees for our rest of the life, what not we can get. That's why this verse is, it says, my Mahaprabhu is saying that, just becoming riches or getting clear for the material miseries, this is not the goal actually. And if you see the Pandavas, they have all the miseries, but still they continued serving the Lord. And I think they have never asked the Lord, say, why you are with us, but still we are suffering. They never asked, isn't it? Haridas Thakur, see the example of Haridas Thakur. He was being, beaten in the 22 marketplaces, but he never asked that, oh Krishna, why I'm getting beaten? I'm chanting your name, right? So these are the examples what we can see, that how the devotional service, the bliss we get is way high than anything else. And there is one more verse from chapter 1, canto 1, text, chapter 5, text 18, where he says that persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for the purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka down to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense gratification is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in the course of time. Just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them, isn't it? So in the karma kanda way, what happens is when generally the devotee, they comes, not the devotee of Krishna, but the devotees of devatas or things, when they go to worship, they say, it's okay, please fulfill my desire, my things, and this, I'm suffering here, this and this, right? But here it being said that the devotees, they get whatever they destined, as if we get the miseries. So do you think of any person in this world who goes to temple and asks, oh, can I get miseries? Except one, except Kunti Maharani, except her. Anyone never asks for misery, isn't it? Anyone, even if in the process of karma kanda, even in that, they never ask, they never do any, perform any yajna so that, oh, go give me miseries. Never. Sorry? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But in general, yeah. So Generally, it's the same. No one asks for miseries, but still we get the miseries. Everyone asks for happiness. Okay. Even in Karma Kanda prayers, oh Lord, please make sure that my family is well, my job is well, everything is all good, I'm not suffering, but still we get suffering. So this verse says that as in due course of time, we get the miseries, even if we do not desire. In the same way, we will get the happiness which is about to come to us. But the real highest goal of life is to perform devotional service to the Lord, by which the bliss we get, that's expanding and expanding and expanding. It's never ever limited. Krishna is unlimited, his service is unlimited, and the bliss what we get from serving Krishna is also unlimited. Right? And uh, then what shall we do? And what the way to perform devotional service? There comes questions. So devotional service is the best ways to perform in a parampara. There are four pramanic parampara, but right now the parampara Prabhupada has established is the more prominent one. And the 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 following the steps of our acharyas, following the parampara, we can achieve, we can perform devotional service to the Lord, isn't it? And even our Bhagavatam explains about the way how to do it. So he says, take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, and he's riding a boat, and he will cross, he will become the sailor of your boat. Just hold his lotus feet, or sometimes Prabhupada says hold dhoti, right? And then he'll cross these nations. So the best way to perform devotional service is in parampara, with aligned with shastras and sadhus, and then by performing the devotional service, we can be on the boat, and our spiritual master, he will take us back to Godhead, back to Godhead. And uh, even the devotees, they desire to perform devotional service. They don't even desire to get liberated as well. They always thought, okay, we are all good if somehow or that we can engage ourselves in devotional service with the Lord. Right? Any quick questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu.
I have a question. There was just if devotees are not blissful, then without even regarding them as devotional service, or is it because in intermediate self, when they start performing devotional service before they get to the stage of bliss? And is it that maybe some devotees don't want to get to the stage of being blissful because they see that an advanced devotee sometimes has to go through the same suffering? So I'm thinking, I don't understand where you and being unified because I'm not going to be able to tell you what my suffering.
Um, so the suffering, as we discussed about the Pandavas, right? Even the the suffering which we get, the pure devotee, they take in a different way. They take it as a blessings of the Krishna as well, isn't it? So I was, if you remember, I think couple of months back, more than that a bit, His Holiness Bhakti Raghav Maharaj was here in our temple, right? And I was hearing a lecture long back, and then in that beginning, even said that there was some blast happened in Mayapur, I think. Yeah. So in that case, and Bhakti Raghav Maharaj has to, his one leg was chopped off, and so the way, I mean, the question being asked to Bhakti Raghav Maharaj that Maharaj, so how do you see this as Krishna's arrangement, right? A person's leg being chopped off. Can you imagine that Maharaj would see this in a it's a blessing of Krishna? He says yes, it's a blessing of Krishna. He says that my one leg has a polio, was was infected by the polio, and that Krishna is so merciful that he chopped my same leg, not the other one. See, so this is the stage of pure devotees, how they see things, that even if the misery comes, it actually coming from, is the blessings from the Krishna. And the other way around, the pure devotee, they certainly they think that the miseries I am getting is not about the Krishna. It actually what I had in my previous lives that I was about to come, and Krishna just giving me a token. Yep.
Just to clarify the question, I appreciate that. It's just a neophyte devotee may resist wanting to go forward to the aspects of neo-marga, just like they become lethargic. Because they think about, oh, maybe I'll get my diploma, so I will stay like kind of foolish, non-content person, and just stay here, and it's like, at least I'll keep my legs.
Yeah, I was coming there. So that's the point of pure devotion. Pure devotee is how they think is. That is why they are neophyte, because they have not gone to those things. But as soon as they engage themselves more and more with Krishna Katha, with hearing from acharyas, associating with Prabhupads, certainly, as you explained earlier, right? You told in our previous session, it's like wave. Though persons think that they are still there, but actually they are moving ahead as well. So the neophyte, if he engages himself properly in the the steps Prabhupada gives us, the way of chanting the holy name, associating with the devotees, going to Dhamma, engaging in reading shastras, he's actually making progress. And one day he will realize that okay, progress is all there. So from one top, it seems like he's still there, but another way around, if you see, is actually moving. Right. So the neophyte, he might be thinking, yes, I don't want to go there. But if he's performing the process properly, then destination is there. Krishna will take care definitely. There's no doubt in that. That's our Acharya says that to have the faith in Shastras. When Krishna says that Sarvadharam prityaja mamekam sranam braja aham tvam sarapape abhi moksha masucha. Krishna is saying, be assured, isn't it? Krishna is saying, being assured, just take my shelter, I'll take care of your sinful activities. So if the neophyte devotee has this faith, I mean, anyway, if is the neophyte because he has not got this faith condensed yet. So neophyte means what? He has a faith, but the faith is not condensed. But gradually, the faith will become condensed. So it's like the steps of our bhakti is one Shraddha. So Shraddha is, once we have a small Shraddha, a tiny bit of Shraddha, we start to do next step. What? Sadhu Sangha. And then Bhajana Kriya. Start processing. So as soon as we go towards the Sadhu Sangha, when we associate more with the sadhus, that faith which we are tiny, it becomes a bit inch now. Right? And then the faith becomes more, the association with the Sadhu Sangha also become more. And then go to the next step. Bhajana Kriya, started the performing of this process. And then as we start performing the process, this faith which was tiny to 1 inch now is expanded more. So in the similar way, the faith become condensed gradually and go and go. And then the neophyte devotee will one day, he will go there, isn't it? It makes sense, Prabhu? Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yes, so we are not experiencing transcendental bliss. It means we are not still on the stage of pure devotional service. And it doesn't mean that we are not performing devotional service. It means, yeah, something is lacking there. And if you see the example of Narada Muni, right, in the previous life, when his mother died, he went out. What happened? And he, whatever he had heard from his the sadhus, he performed the same thing. And as described by them, he performed, and when Krishna came for a blink, he got this kind of spark. And then he tried to perform the same thing again properly, but nothing happened. Nothing happened. Then what Krishna says, I'll meet you next time. It's all done now. So it means what? There is something lagging. Still there is something lagging. We need to find that lagging, and then we need to go and more over there. And sometimes we get a small spark as well. It's not about that, every time we'll get the bliss, but Krishna is to give us small tiny bits so that we continue. And the essence, I think I was hearing in one more lecture, there it's being said that we are certainly experiencing bliss somehow or other. That's why we are continuing the process. Otherwise we won't continue the process. The the conditioned soul will do activity only if he's getting something out of that. If we don't get anything, like, no, if I don't get salary, I won't probably work, right? So the sense is, the person, though he might not be experiencing it, but he's getting somehow or other. The soul is experiencing those things, and that's why he's performing the same steps, the process of devotional service. If you can take the example of chanting holy name. Even if you don't get bliss every time, it's been described that, as soon as you chant the holy name, we should, our eyes should be filled with all this, in a mood of crying, and the water should be filled there. But I never get it. But still, we are chanting the holy name. Right? So the process is still there. Process works, and even in one of the japa book, I think Sajjan Swami Maharaj explains that he gives the in the broken name, he gives example of the wood and fire. So the fire is capable of burning, and the wood is capable of being burned. So if we connect both the fire and the wood should burn. If we see that the wood is not burning, it means what? Either the wood is quite dry, or the fire is not intense. So to burn the wood, the fire needs to be intense, so that even if the wood is wet, the fire should dry the water and then burn the wood. So if we are not experiencing that, it's not a defect in the holy name, but a defect in within us, that we have not been there yet. Our fire intensity of fire is either low, or the wood is dry. That makes sense.
Maybe we could slow this, so you have to be patient.
Yeah.
So
Nishchayat dhairyat. Yeah.
you have to do it for a while, and then just wait.
Yeah, in one of the lecture, Bhakti Swami Maharaj was explaining that one devotee came to him, and then he says, I'm chanting holy name, but nothing is happening to me. There is no Sattvic vikar at all. And the Maharaj asked, how long have you been chanting? He says, 1 year. So, I mean, yeah, if some person can get even in 1 day, that's fine. But still, it means we are still conditioned. That's why we are conditioned. Uh, yes, Prabhu, saying something else.
Yeah, the answer is also given in the first part of the verse, because telling us what the real goal was.
Hmm.
So if we're making our goals and test about it, whatever the activity of the real goal, then it's going to take some time.
Yeah.
Even though we're performing it next, we're still getting some result, because we didn't give up from the bad habits,
Hmm.
even though we're not really feeling it, but just from future questions and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. Haribol. Thank you.
Ramana said also, he wanted his disciples to go to the second class platform as soon as possible. And that's when the verse starts. To do that, you have to be modular. And we said, we can't see the mountains have to be removed.
Yeah.
So you burn in the wood for quite a while before it catches you. 15, 20 years, then you start this.
Yeah, I think in one of the lectures I was hearing, I think it's that even our Srila Bhakti Thakur, he went for chanting the holy name for millions, for many 10 to 20 years regularly, and then started preaching again. So before starting the preaching, he chanted the holy name alone for many years, and then yeah.
Somebody was saying as well, they were saying, oh, I want to follow anybody who just chants all the time.
Yeah, yeah. That's just one point. Will then end it like so. Even in CC, it's been described that pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be had even by a pious activity in hundreds of thousands of lives. So it can be attained only by paying one price, this lolium, that the intense greed to obtain it. So once you have that greed, maybe that's fits answer as well. If you have the greed to get it, then श्री चेतन चेतामृत की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय,
Grace, bless your hour,
वैष्णव वृंद की